Everyone, good morning and welcome to AskSpot Office Hours live help sessions. And in this live help sessions, you can ask your quick question regarding AskSpot and get live help. We also do live builds to show you how different AskSpot tools can work in real use cases. So I hope everyone is doing great today. And as for what we will be building. I am calling it the AR marketing workflow builder. So basically, we are going to build a tool that will help you determine what steps the workflow should have, what prompts to write, what channels to use, how to structure everything. So you just give it the goal, and then it builds the whole setup for you. So this is very useful if you're like building the same type of systems over and over, or you just want a faster starting point, instead of thinking from scratch every time. So you can with this in this way you can like improve conversions. With this like AI setups, you can maximize AskSpot's full capabilities. So this is perfect for everyone who's working with maybe with agencies, if you're a SaaS founder, you're working with course creators or local businesses, or just basically anyone who uses AskSpot for building client systems. So we'll go through it right now. If you have like questions, or if you have like if you're confused with a step, do let me know. You can put your question in the chat, or also you can unmute your mic. So let me go ahead and go to my AskSpot account. And for this one, we will be using a canvas since it's more of our like internal tool that we use. So I'll use the canvas for that. And I'll just name this AI workflow builder. Okay, and click create. So that's being generated. And now let's click inside. And for this one, I'll just feed it a file regarding AskSpot, since it's going to be building systems using AskSpot tool. Okay, so that's processing. Okay, that's been loaded. And then now over here, let me just put the title, marketing workflow, put your marketing workflow, and then I'll just put a few like links in here. Feel free to change this if you like. Copy this. Just put that right there. Add the next one and add it right here. Okay, cool. Now let's head on over to the chat section. And I'll just put this headline right here. And also our initial like message. So basically, it's saying, welcome, tell me the marketing outcome that you want to build, such as lead generation, lead nurturing, sales conversion, onboarding, reactivation, or maybe content promotion. And then it will turn it into a fully structured AskSpot workflow with the strategy, the steps, the prompts, the sources, the channels, and the exact build instructions. So now we will be going here to our customization and just select one that looks best with it. I think this looks good with that. And next, let's just add our channel. So the only channel that we will add here is the like here to start. So it will trigger conversation with the AI. Now let's click create. Okay. And now let's see, we will be heading over to our AI config, and we will discuss the prompt that we are using for this. So let me just grab that real quick for you. So this is a comprehensive prompt that we're using, you guys. And then let me show you the very first tab, which is first, of course, explaining what its job is. So its job is to design real buildable systems inside AskSpot AI and not just generic marketing strategies. So let me just put here um, marketing systems inside AskSpot AI, not generic, is it? Okay, so I think that's good. And then on this part, we described AI, what kind of knowledge it should have. So it should have knowledge of the following, which are, all of the tools that we can utilize inside AskSpot. And then we put here, you must always generate outputs that can be directly implemented inside AskSpot. And then we have a few required input collection. So before generating any workflow at all, the AI must be able to complete all of the 6 inputs. So that will be the primary marketing goal, the target audience, the product, or maybe the service or the offer, the channels, the desired conversion action, and then also their biggest bottleneck right now. And then over here is a few critical question rules. So if you've been in my live help sessions, you guys, we all know that AI tends to not ask the question like one at a time. It tends to like blurt out everything. And it can overwhelm a user. So that's why I tend to like put critical question rules or maybe guardrails for the AI when it comes to, like asking questions to the user. And then once it is able to like ask all of these 6 questions, it would go over here and then oh, this one I added this additionally because AI tends to have a different meaning of the word prompts. So for us, prompts in AskSpot means the instructions that we give, right? The system instructions that we give to the AI on how it should work, what its job is, how it should behave, what kind of questions it can ask. So I gave it like an understanding on how prompting works inside AskSpot, so it can also help us it can also help us build prompts inside AskSpot. So over here is the primary objective. So it must be able to generate a complete AskSpot system that includes the strategy, the tool selection, if it's going to be a chatbot, an IntelliForm, or a Spotlight, workflow structure that is mapped to AskSpot components, the sources setup, the channel setup, the flow structure. This is only if it's relevant. And then prompt instructions and also the step-by-step build instructions. So it's kind of like having a complete roadmap completely designed to build this inside AskSpot. And then over here, it says everything must be implementable inside AskSpot. So you won't have to go astray. You won't have to use any other tools. You can just use AskSpot for that. And over here is the output structure. So this will be like mandatory for the AI. It should have the workflow name, the goal summary, the target user, and then the recommended AskSpot tool. I think we should add the canvas also in here, although we mainly use Canvas as an internal tool and not as a client-facing tool. So I think that's why the prompt didn't include Canvas in the recommended AskSpot tool, and then explain why based on use case. So then number 5 is the workflow strategy. Explain how it can like convert users step by step, and then the workflow architecture. So it must be able to break it into stages and map real components, which are like the chatbot conversation steps, the flow builder blocks, if we're going to use that, the form interactions, if we're going to use IntelliForm, and then some of the AI processing points. And also it should have the sources set up, what type of source to use, the channel setup, what kind of channel it should use. You can also explain the purpose of each. And then you also have your flow structure. So if we're going to be using the flow builder, using that, it will be like defining the flow builder blocks that we have. And then the prompt block. So it must be able to generate real AskSpot prompts. So this tool can also help you like build an entire system prompt inside AskSpot. So that's related to marketing workflows. So it must be able to like be create an internal AI instruction. It should be able to define what the AI should do, how it should respond. It should not include user interface messages. It should not include greetings or buttons. So as you can see, here's an example format of how it should like, create the prompt for us. And then the next is the step-by-step build instructions, the optimization tips, and then a few hard rules for the AI. So I think it's best to have like, yeah, what I said earlier, it's best to have like guardrails for the AI. So I just added like a few more hard rules in here. And then also the tone. So it should be confident, it should be expert, and it should be implementation focused. And it's not just trying to explain something, it's trying to build a system itself. So that is the comprehensive prompt that we will be using for this canvas. So this made it this made it really, really smart. It made it very knowledgeable. And it now knows how to use the information that we added on the sources by just, following this prompt itself. So now let's try and start testing that. However, let's do a preview. Oh, sorry. Let me just go back actually and change the AI model right here. Let's make sure that changed. And then maybe let's enable AI to suggest questions based on its knowledge and user conversation. I think that's good. It's good to have that. Now let's take a look and refresh this. Okay, cool. So now if you click here to start, okay, so I'm here to help you build a marketing workflow using AskSpot AI. Let's start by defining your primary marketing goal. Could you please tell me what you're aiming to achieve, such as lead generation, lead nurturing? Okay, let's just say lead generation. And then, okay, what is your target audience? Okay, so who are you aiming to reach with your lead generation efforts? Okay, so now what product, service, or offer are you promoting with this lead generation campaign? Okay, what channels do you plan to use for this campaign? Let's just say website and email. What is the desired conversion action you want users to take once they engage with your website or email campaign? Let's just say book strategy call. And now it's going to ask us what's the biggest bottleneck you're currently facing in achieving book strategy calls from your website and email campaigns. Let's put that. You get traffic, but very few people convert. Okay, let's wait it to finish and let's go through the answers provided by the AI. Okay, so now here is the like the workflow name and then the goal of that workflow. The target user, the recommended AskSpot tool is an IntelliForm. It is ideal because it allows for dynamic AI responses and can guide users through booking a strategy call with personalized introductions. And then it also provided us with the workflow strategy. It said you can use the call to action on your website or maybe in your email marketing to direct the traffic to the IntelliForm. Okay, so that's very smart. And then using that IntelliForm, you will collect user information and then you will qualify the leads also through that IntelliForm. And then the AI guidance will also provide instant feedback and engage users with personalized AI responses. And then direct users to schedule a strategic call at the final step of the form. So you also have like your IntelliForm set up right here. So you just need to collect their name, their email, their business type, and then the preferred call time. And then you will be like providing tailored responses based on the user's input. And then you will redirect them to a scheduling page or show a calendar widget for like booking calls. Okay, this I don't think this will work inside an IntelliForm. So maybe what you can do is just redirect them to a scheduling page using the call to action at the end of the IntelliForm. And then you have your like sources set up right here, the channel set up right here. And then the flow structure is not needed. And then this is a good one. Here's the prompt block. So you can also ask the AI to kind of like elaborate on this. Let me just do that right now. Can you elaborate on the prompt I should use for this? Include the form IDs. There you go. Okay. Awesome. So it was able to provide that with the form IDs or the question IDs, right? We need that when building an IntelliForm. And then it was also to provide us the prompt that also references the question IDs, which are basically the user's input. So it says here, this prompt is designed to dynamically respond to user inputs captured through the IntelliForm. So by referencing specific field, IDs, the AI can tailor its responses. Yep, exactly. That's what we're trying to do. So yeah, that's the entire idea. So we're not trying to replace here on how you build. We're just trying to like speed up the process, the thinking, the structuring, the prompt writing. So if you're like doing, client work, this can help you like move faster, stay consistent with your builds and not miss pieces like the sources, the channels, or maybe the logic itself. So you can just tweak everything based on your style or your client's style. So that's it. Any questions at all regarding this build right here? Any like question? There's one from Chandrakant. Can I take the info user enters in a flow builder and fit it into an AI using variables? So the way that it works in the flow builder, so you cannot so we do have an AI mode block inside the flow builder, but however, it doesn't work the way that you want it to, Chandrakant. I think you want to like feed the information, right? That you have collected inside the flow builder and then have the AI mode like maybe analyze that, provide output. So that will not work inside the flow builder. The way it works is that you'll collect the information, right, of the user using the flows, using the blocks that you added in the flow builder, and then you can just redirect them to an AI chat. However, that AI chat won't have like information of the previously added input from the user. It's basically just a handoff to an AI. That's how it would work inside a flow builder. So if you want that, if you want to take an info from a user and fit it into an AI and then generate an output, that's when we use the IntelliForm. However, it will be in a format, right? It will not be in a chat format. So that's like the difference between the flow builder and also the form, the IntelliForm builder. That yeah, on the flow builder, that's right. Won't be able to kind of like pass any of the collected info. Let me just show you right here. So as you can see here, we are like on this one. Do you see right here? The very last part is the AI mode, right? On this flow builder. That's because we are just trying to like hand them off to the AI. We cannot hand off any like the collected data from the entire flow that it went through and put it in AI mode. So yep, that's not possible right now in the flow builder. Any questions also? Any further questions on this? Let's go with that. Put that right here. AI workflow filter. There we go. So I just pasted the duplicate link in the chat. Any last questions before we wrap up the Tuesday live help session? Okay, I think everyone's good for today. Well, I really, really appreciate you guys for joining this Tuesday's live help sessions. If you need any help, if you have any suggestions at all, you know where to find me, you know where to reach me. And thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.